Hey guys, so running a business is about delivering value to other people. And right now we're in the middle of a series talking about the 12 basic forms of value you can bring to the market. If you want to run a business someday, you can use these forms of value to figure out how you can contribute to the world in exchange for money. Or if you already run an existing business, you might benefit by adding more forms of value. So in the last video of this series, we talked all about products, and I'll leave a card up at the top here so that you can check that one out if you haven't seen it yet. A service is the action of helping other people or doing work for someone else. To make money with services, you need to provide some benefit to the user. One thing that helped me out is always remembering that I'm doing services for other people. And that's the key to success. I always need to remember to have the best attitude and do the best work on every single job. And remember that I'm doing it for other people, not for myself. Oftentimes, people just look after themselves and their own interests. But that's what's going to hold you back in a service-based business, or in any business really. So the key is to look after other people first. You're going to find more success that way. You can make a lot of money with services, but the problem is they're hard to duplicate because your time and energy are finite resources, and that's the drawback. To create a successful service business, you need to have employees capable of a skill or ability that other people require but can't perform themselves or don't want to do themselves. You need to make sure that the service is performed with the highest quality possible, and you need to be able to attract and retain paying customers. I think the best way to make the most amount of money with a service-based business is to do something where the skills are hard to obtain and they're kind of rare. I got a story about this. A few years ago, I was still running my janitorial company, but things were really slowing down, and I found out that the market was really oversaturated. I mean, there's so much competition out there in the janitorial industry. It seems like everybody with a mop bucket thinks that they can be successful in business. And this keeps the pricing way down on nightly janitorial. So I was struggling financially, and instead of just closing my business and walking away from it, what I decided to do was contact all the janitorial companies in my area. And I was looking for a job for a floor care technician. I already had some experience with this because of my mentor Victor's company, but I really wasn't good enough to go out and provide this service and really charge a whole lot of money and have consistent results. So I needed to get a lot more experience. Eventually I found this big company and they had an opening for a floor care technician, and I applied for it, went in for the interview, and I got it. And for 40 hours a week, from probably 5 p.m. in the afternoon till midnight or 1 o'clock a.m., I was out scrubbing floors, and we would do hospitals and just all their accounts that company had. And it took me a couple of months, and I would ride around with the other guys in their van, and we would talk about floor care and things like that. And we'd hang out basically and just keep doing jobs night after night. And eventually I got all the skills I needed to get really good at floor care. I learned what all the different color pads could do. I learned about all the different types of stripper and chemicals I needed. I learned all the tools I needed. And when I wasn't working for them, I was running my janitorial company, and I'd go out and do my personal accounts. I just moved my schedule around so that I could still maintain all my responsibilities at my business, but I opened up 40 hours a week so that I could go out and work for these other people. And by doing that, I was able to have an additional income coming in, and I was able to set aside a bunch of money as I was working this job. So when I was able to quit, I was able to go out and buy a bunch of the equipment that I needed. I already told you guys about how I bought a lot of my equipment, but for some of the stuff that I needed money for, that's how I actually earned that money, was by doing this, by working 40 hours a week for another janitorial company and then doing my own thing on the side. The real benefit to that whole experience was I learned a skill that's more difficult to obtain than most people in the cleaning business. There's not a lot of people out there who are doing floor care. It's like a really specialized thing to do. I found out that I really enjoyed it, and I became good at it over time, but it also set me apart from my competitors. This way, I'm not competing on price. I can just walk into a customer location, I tell them what I charge, and they're not really getting bids from other people or anything because I have a really good reputation for doing this and they trust me, and so I can make a lot more money doing this than I could just cleaning bathrooms and changing garbage cans and dusting and stuff. I really think the key to making a lot of money in a service-based business is to do something that's kind of rare and acquire a skill that's kind of difficult to obtain for most people. I really think that most people could do this. If you just get an entry-level job for some other company, you can learn the skills. Like, you could work at a painting company and learn how to become a professional painter and get really good at it. Set aside some money. Maybe you need to get a part-time job nights and weekends so that you have some additional income coming in, but set aside money for an air compressor and a gun and all this stuff. And eventually, over a couple of months, I don't know how long it takes to become like really good at painting, but I would imagine over just a few short months, you could become really good at it and have enough money left over to buy all your own gear and get involved in your own business. It doesn't just have to be painting or janitorial. I mean, you could get into bricklaying. I knew a guy that built mailboxes. I think I talked to you guys about a guy I knew that built waterfalls in the back of people's houses. I even knew this kid who would kind of remodel window wells. You know, houses that have basements, they have window wells so that you can open the window and get out in case of fires and let light in and things like that. Not all houses have them, and not every part of the country has these, so that's why I want to explain what they are. But anyway, there are these window wells, and basically it's just kind of like sheet metal that wraps around windows. And him and his buddy would go in, they put cool rocks in there, and then seal the rocks with cement and stuff and make them really decorative. That way when people had their windows open, they didn't just see this big ugly metal thing around their window. And they made a lot of money doing that. It was kind of a rare thing that not many people were doing where I lived. So even doing something like that is a really good service that you could offer. I know people who have done siding on houses, people that put up fence and decks. So there's a lot of different types of services that you can learn, not just janitorial, not just floor care. And that's common sense. I mean, there's like tattoo artists and barbershops. I don't need to mention all these, but the reason I want to is because I want you to remember, even though I'm a janitor and I own a cleaning business, that's not exactly what I'm always talking about, is how to run a cleaning company. So feel free to kind of explore other options. I get a lot of people that are asking me, hey, how do you start a cleaning company? And really, I don't know if cleaning company is right for a lot of people. I think a lot of people just want to make money, they want to improve their lifestyle, work for themselves, and they think cleaning is going to be the best business. But really, before you just jump into starting a business, take a look and think about your life experience and things that you enjoy. Think about if you like working inside, outside, if you want to work on your own or with a team. There's a lot of things to consider, so you don't just need to jump into a janitorial company. Anyway, by learning these skills to do floor care, that was really good because it set me apart from the competition. But at the same time, these are skills that are very hard to duplicate. It takes a lot of training and a lot of time to invest in employees to be able to get them to do this type of work consistently. And that's kind of the drawback. And although I can go out and I can make a lot of money on my own, I'm only limited to several hours a day. I can only do so many floor jobs every day because my time and my energy are finite resources. Because of that, you have to make sure that you're charging enough to compensate for your time, or else you're going to be doing too much work for too little money, and it's just not going to be worth it. And everybody underbids a job every now and again, but that's something that you really have to learn how to do, is bidding properly so that you're getting compensated, because your time and resources, they're limited. So you need to be making enough money to make it worth it. Well, in the next video in this series, we're going to be talking about shared resources. If you guys like this series, let me know. I haven't really had a whole lot of feedback on it, so I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Maybe this is all obvious stuff and I don't even really need to mention all of it. But I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about all the forms of value, just to give us a base of the types of things we can offer our customers. So in the next video, we're talking about shared resources. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you turn on that notification thing, because YouTube doesn't show all of my new videos to all of my subscribers unless you turn on the notifications yourself. So if you want to be able to quit your job and do what you want, when you want, how you want, for who you want, and how much you want, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys next time.